Okay, part two. I mentioned in the previous video that I am building a watch list of longs, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm even going to get an opportunity to go long. Let me explain. The market's going to have a bounce. You can see how we've been really hanging. This is by the way, the NASDAQ 60-minute. You can see how we've been hanging in this oversold area. We're going to have a bounce to the 60 level. That's almost a given. And at that time, same thing on the Dow here. You can see we've been really oversold here. We're going to have a bounce, and I'll be watching the 60 level to see how it reacts. And at that time, if my timing signal remains stubbornly bearish, then I will probably be entering some new short positions for, say, the next wave down. Because just because we're having some kind of capitulation type action, that doesn't mean that we're going to go down and then completely reverse. We may go up, churn, go sideways, and then head back down. So there's a couple different options that I have on the table. You can see here on the percentage of stocks above the 50-day moving average that on the S&P, 3.6% of stocks are above their 50-day moving average. That's very bad. Percentage of stocks on the NASDAQ above the 200-day, 24%. You know, the market internals are horrid, and you can see here that today's volume was quite significant. The NASDAQ advanced decline, this is the most oversold I've seen this particular indicator in quite some time. I didn't really go back and check to see, but just on this chart alone, and the markets will most certainly have some sort of bounce, whether it's an intraday and then they turn right around. That's to be determined. Now here are some stocks that I'm watching. Now the kinds of stocks that I'm building a watch list are stocks that were quite strong, and they're having a fairly swift and significant pullback. And the odds are that you know, if this turns out to be, you know, a down move on the markets where at some point there is significant buying coming in, that my logic is that these kinds of stocks, and you can go back and look at these, you can pause the video, you can go back and check them out, and if these stocks weaken significantly, it's almost like there's a small window where or not a window, how should I describe this? Like, I want stocks that are strong, that are having a pullback, but if they have too much of a pullback, then I'm no longer interested in them. So I hope that makes sense. You know, I'm looking for the leaders that are getting caught in the downdraft of the general market. If they were to come out with a earnings and they disappointed, and that caused that particular stock to have a really significant sell-off, well, I would probably just take that off my list. I don't want a stock that's going to be hampered down by earnings. I want these down moves to be completely market related. Copper, I touched upon this the other day. It's in an area where it could bounce. It could find support on that down sloping upper trend line, and so that's something that I'm watching. SLV got crushed today. The silver miners got, you know, just crushed compared to gold. I think this is a buying opportunity. I really have to watch to see how it reacts tomorrow. Natural gas crushed. Like, this chart is just ridiculous. I don't even know how to interpret this. TBT, I was looking for this to bottom potentially this week. I don't know. Like, this is just out of the ordinary behavior. Bonds are going crazy. TBT is, you know, it should bounce, but who knows? Like, this trade's off the table in my opinion. USO 6%, or no, like 8-9% in 2 days. This is not good for the global. Like, you would expect oil to be, the markets to be up when oil's down.